very few people know, but the people who know. And then you slide it in there and it's like, I put it right in their face. Yeah. We love the devil. What's the worst thing you could do in the world? You're like, well, it involves kids. No, we do that. We all do that. Hail Satan. Now, who would have thought that Jake Shields would be in the middle of one of the biggest scandals that the United States, or actually global community has seen in a very long time? But Jake Shields is right in the middle of this Balenciaga thing because he keeps breaking these stories on Instagram. Now, he's got a lot of followers, and he keeps finding all this new stuff and then breaking it. And so, listen, if you don't know the Balenciaga story as a baseline, I'm going to tell you about it in a second, but there's new stuff today. I just did a video about this on Jesse on Everything yesterday, and because it's already on Jesse on Everything, if you do a video about the same topic back-to-back videos, YouTube does not show it to people. So I'm going to use this moment and the fact that Jake Shields, Cesar Gracie black belt, very close friends of the Diaz, like in the Diaz crew. I just watched an instructional of him, how he does his arm triangles this morning. He's like a huge martial arts guy, former UFC fighter. He keeps breaking new stuff about this Balenciaga thing. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just bear with me because this is one of the most insane stories ever. And I mean that. This is an insane story. Insane. But yeah, I covered it yesterday on Jesse on Everything. This also gives me the ability to kind of give you a preview of what my other channel, Jesse on Everything, looks like, because this is basically going to be a Jesse on Everything video. I'm just using the Jake Shields angle as an excuse to put it on Jesse on Fire. So yeah, now if this is your, if you watch more than one of my videos and you're going to continue to watch them, please subscribe to the channel. That's the jar at the front of the store. It's the honor system. You can put a quarter in or don't, but it's the honor system. Like, it's free. Just subscribe to the channel. Watch as much as you want, dude. The content's free. I work really hard. And then go ahead and like the video. That actually really, really helps. And I want everyone to see this video because this is actually important. And I would also really love to hear what you guys think about this. But do me a favor and do not talk about pizza, okay? Don't talk about that. Do not put that in the comments. That is a huge, huge problem for YouTube creators. Like, that's like the one topic you're not allowed to talk about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then that's fine because you wouldn't comment it. But if you do, now one more time for the people in the back. If you're looking for a present to buy your friend, your guy friend for Christmas, I cannot recommend Sheath underwear more stringently. And I am going to show you guys some B-roll that I had Bobby the Bank send me. He owns Sheath. And just like me and the MMA Holes and Chael and all these other amazing channels that support and are sponsored by Sheath, we're all wearing them, dude. We're all wearing them. And I'm telling you, get on the train. Because I know when I pick my underwear, I'm like, I wonder what kind of underwear Connor's wearing. And if it's a Sheath, I'm putting it on. What do you think Khabib wears? They're all Sheath. I'm like, I knew it, dude. If Khabib's wearing it, I'm wearing it. So that's kind of how I make those decisions, and hopefully you guys do too, because Sheath is what I'm wearing. It's what Chael's wearing. It's what the MMA Holes. It's what Chris is wearing. That's what it is. So use the promo code in this thing, and you can get yourself some. And then you could sit back and watch this amazing video I'm about to tell you. Use the code FIRE for 20% off. Sheathunderwear.com, FIRE. So here's the deal, okay? So Balenciaga runs this ad for their fall collection or whatever, right? And they've got a kid holding a bear in bondage, and it's really creepy and bizarre. It's like a really little kid, dude. Like, you're talking like a 3 or 4 year old holding up a bear that's in like S&M gear, and everyone was like, "What is this?" And and again, let me just make sure that I say this in the front. The video I did yesterday on Jesse on Everything. This is new after that, okay? Like, I have new information and really shocking new information. As crazy as the stuff I put in that video is, which I'll go over again in this one, this is equally or more. Actually, this is more, dude. So, anyway, we'll get to it though. So Balenciaga does this thing. It's, the kid is holding a bear that's in, S&M gear. It's real, and everyone's like, "What is this, man?" Then they do another one, and they got a ton of backlash about this, right? Like a ton, because they're just like, This is your Thanksgiving collection. And you got a kid laid out all weird, bear and S&M stuff. And then there's a bunch of like papers on the table, and they zoom in on them. And one of the papers is a court ruling on a CP case. CP, Okay? Like we said, kid holding a bear in bondage, CP. Be smart. What does CP mean? Okay? Jared from Subway is struggling from, I think he's still sitting in jail because he likes CP a little bit too much. And I think Michael Jackson might have been accused of potentially wanting to have CP in his, in his computer, but I don't believe those kids. I'm just going to say, I don't believe them. I'm like Dave Chappelle. I don't believe them. I think they're lying. Those two guys that they did the documentary about. And I am hard on like that kind of thing. I have no tolerance for it. But my poker face on them is two broke guys that conspired and thought that they could just, pull $30 million each out of the estate. But nonetheless, it's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But anyway, there was enormous backlash about this, right? Enormous backlash because people are like, what are you doing? Like, Balenciaga is big. I mean, if you don't know what Balenciaga is, it's like, it's a really, really expensive fashion brand, very expensive. And listen, like in that world, you have, there's all kinds of like weird stuff that people do. And it's like, it's art, man. It's art. It's art. Oh, yeah, I put like just stuff where you're looking and you're like, how is this fashion? It's like a person in a trash bag. Remember on Zoolander, they're all, it's this new thing. It's based on the homeless. It's called Derelict. Like, that's honestly not that far off sometimes. Like, you're looking, you're all right, I don't understand. They're artists. They're crazy. But there also seems to be a large subculture in that world, which may cross over into other things, but we're not talking about that on this channel. But in that world, that seems to be trying to normalize little kids being involved in stuff like this, Now, throwing those papers on the table, that court case, probably a bridge too far, Because when people zoom, like, I don't understand how they thought that they were going to get away with that. It's like, you really thought no one was going to zoom in on those papers? Like, it's the internet, dude. It's the internet. People are going to find it. And someone found something new today. Anyway, so tons of backlash. All these celebrities that have done any kind of things for Balenciaga, people are like, hey, what do you think? Balenciaga deleted their Twitter. The Twitter's gone. They shut down their Instagram. They have like disappeared, right? This is destroying their business because it should, right? Because regular folks look at this and they're like, wait, what? If you slide something in like that, like some symbolism stuff in there that no one knows what it means, that's one thing, because people don't get it. And it's so crazy that people who actually know what the symbols mean, they tell someone else and they won't believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's that. If you want to pull this off, like you want to be a weirdo, Satanist or whatever, that's your lane. Okay. Right there where very few people know, but the people who know. And then you slide it in there and it's like, I put it right in their face. Yeah. We love the devil. What's the worst thing you could do in the world? You're like, well, it involves kids. No, we do that. We all do that. Hail Satan. Hail Satan. So like symbolism, you can kind of get away with it. You throw a document on it, like a document. Morons, dude. Like morons, okay? It's a document. It's got written words on it. Of course people are going to figure out what it is. So, the company is falling apart as they should. And that was that. Now, the thing that I did the video on Jesse and everything came from Jake Shields. So Jake Shields on Instagram has been doing all this this investigative sleuthing. And he looked into one of the artists that was responsible for the set design. And I'm going to show you, like I showed on this, my video yesterday, this is the art that this person had on their Instagram. Their Instagram's private. The person I'm about to talk about, who's the new break in this story, their Instagram's private. And the images speak for themselves, right? I'm pretty sure that the actual artist is the one in the picture that I showed with, that's covered in red and holding what I can only interpret as two bloody babies. Ooh, you know what I want to do for this one? Give me a couple dolls that I can cover in blood. Babies. babies and blood. Like, can you imagine if you threw a regular person into this environment? Like, so I'm talking like someone with no experience, like me, well, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of like like a jaded person where like they'd be doing this and I would just be like, I knew it. I knew it. But like, think of someone that's like stone naive, first job, and they're like, so this one, what we want to do is, we're going to use these two very lifelike babies and we're going to cover them in blood. The person's all, wait, did you say cover the babies in blood? Yes, we're going to cover the babies in blood. Babies. Yes, babies. Like human babies. Yes, human babies. We're going to cover them in blood. Why? Because it's art. Who hired this person? So blood babies, right? And then these other images, and I'm going to be honest with you, there's one image from this sequence that Jake Shields found that I can't show you. I can't. It's gnarly, dude. It is gnarly. It's like, just to describe it, it's like a boy who's maybe like 5 or 6 years old. It's a painting, but it's like a really lifelike painting, right? It's a boy who's like 5 or 6 years old. On his side, he's been disemboweled. I'm like, what? Like, how is this art? Like, this is your art? A disemboweled baby? Or I'm sorry, disemboweled like 5 or 6 year old boy? Like, I mean, art is art or whatever, but like, how is a thing like that even in your brain to think about, right? If you just saw that image, like if you only saw that image, that's where my head would go. I'd be like, Jesus, lunatic, right? Now, just at this moment, I just want to keep in mind, this video is what Jesse on Everything is always like. So if you enjoy it, definitely right after this, go to Jesse on Everything. There are, 130 videos there, and they're all fire. All of them. I do not post on that channel unless I have a fire video. You can go back. They're evergreen. Even if it's like seems like a story that's old, trust me, run them. You can binge that entire channel. You'll love it. So, disemboweled kid. So then you see these other ones, that are, like two people who've had garbage bags taped around their heads. Like, obviously the implication being that they've been, and then you got one with a baby holding up a skull to like some satanic thing. Then you have a straight up spread eagle girl on a pentagram with a Satan, like, I don't know, like the high priest of Satanism or whatever, like standing over her. And it's like, dude, what is this? And then there's this whole other thing, room that looks like a kill room or whatever. Like, it's like, what is this? Like, what is this? How is this? So you're the one who did that set design and you put a thing in about CP with a kid, holding up a bear in bondage. And this is what's in this is art to you. Like, gee, I mean, hey, what do you guys think that this person does when they worship? So when you worship, if you're a God-fearing person, you either go to church or to a mosque or to a temple, right? That's where you go. Hey, where do you think she goes? Where do you think that person goes? Okay. I would say high probability she's the one on the pentagram, right? Proverbially. That's where she goes to worship, right? And it's not like she's hiding the ball, dude. It is not like she's hiding the ball at all. So that was the story from yesterday. I apologize to those who watched it, and if this is redundant, but now we can talk about today, right? So today, Jake Shields, like I said, Jake Shields put up something else, which led me to this, which was something about, I think it was about the lawsuit. So Balenciaga is suing the set designer for $25 million, which is absolutely hilarious. $25 million. $25 million. That to me is the giveaway that the immense probability that this is publicity, like it's just a publicity stunt, because 25 million, this has destroyed your brand completely, right? 25 million. Like, cause what they said, Balenciaga was like, oh, or, the first apology was like, oh, we're really sorry that we, had images of a bear in bondage with a child, should have never been there. And then the people all, what about the CP papers? And they're all, oh my God. And they were like, we do not support any kind of abuse and blah, 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 blah. Apologize for that too. And they're like, we're going to be filing charges or filing suit against the set designers, whatever. So they're like 25 million against this person, right? The person who supposedly did the set design. So I look into that person, right? So like saw it from Jake. I go look into it. And this person's name is Nicholas Desjardins. So I go look at his Instagram. It's private. Just like anyone involved in this thing has shut down completely. They're either private or they're deleted their stuff. Okay. Which is so awesome because it shows that we all agree on some things, but this right here, crystal clear, dude. Everyone's on the same page. You know, we can all kumbaya, hold hands. We're like, we are not down with CP. We're not down with companies that promote CP. I'm holding hands with all of my liberal friends and all my friends on the right. I'm an independent, by the way. I'm not on whatever. But we can all kumbaya and we can chastise these evil, evil people. So, yeah. So anyway, so everything's private. So we look at this guy, Nicholas Desjardins. His Instagram's private, but he has his personal page up. I went and looked at that. There's some very weird like pictures on there that have been like blacked out. But somewhere in this article also, they said they're like this lawsuit also apparently includes this. I'm not sure if they're suing him over this or if someone looking into the lawsuit found it, but it's an old ad. Okay. It's an old ad where they've got this girl like sitting. Well, I'm going to show you unless I forget. They've got a girl sitting with her feet up on a desk. Right. And they've got this book that says Michael Boromans or Michelle, I don't know if you pronounce it Michelle or Michael Boromans. And the book in question is called Fire from the Sun. And yeah. So that book, I'm going to read the description of this book to you. Okay. Let me see if I can do it like this. Fire from the Sun includes small and large scale works that feature toddlers engaged in playful but mysterious acts with sinister overtones and insinuations of violence. The children, who are all naked, by the way, in these images, I honestly can't show you the images from this, but they're all naked in the paintings. The children are presented alone or in groups against a studio-like backdrop that negates time and space, while underlining the theatrical atmosphere and artifice that exists throughout Boromann's recent work. Reminiscent of cherubs in Renaissance paintings, the toddlers appear as allegories of the human condition, their archetypal innocence contrasted with their suggested deviousness. Okay, so the actual images are big groups of naked toddlers with them on fire, with them holding limbs, like the limbs of another kid or whatever. They're holding them, just the limbs, right? Implied deviousness. It's like, oh, so like dismemberment, that's implied deviousness now, or I feel like that's just deviousness. They're toddlers, okay? The reason I can't show it is because they're completely stark naked in all of them, okay? They're paintings, but they're nude. And they're on fire, or they're holding, limbs that have been torn off someone else. I also looked more into that guy's like other art, the dude who wrote that book, which weird, Balenciaga really seems to like enough to where they would put him twice in the same ad. It says his name across the top, and then they've got this book sitting on the desk. Same people that greenlit the CP papers on the desk. Thank you, Jake Shields, for sending this, because like it's the kind of thing that I want to know about. You know what I mean? Like I really want to know that, because I like luxury brands, and I like to know whether or not I'm supporting people who think this is awesome. I wouldn't buy a Balenciaga thing if my life depended on it. But so if it's like one thing, like if it was one of these things, you could write it off as like, oh, maybe maybe the set designers did it. Maybe Balenciaga didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. But three different ads, all recent, all with some kind of reference to what we're talking about. Here's the other thing. If I remember, I'll Google search a few of their they did a runway walk where it was the what do you call it? The plot or I don't know. It was like a day in hell, right? So their runway, it was supposed to be hell, okay? And then all the models are dressed up like, dead demons or something. If I remember, I'll put it in here. And they're like, I was like, hey, they're not really hiding the ball, are they? Not really hiding the ball about where they go when you go to church, the mosque, or temple. I think they call theirs temple also. I don't really know. But yeah. So, like I said, no talk about P-gate or, you know what I mean? Because obviously, if you think you're going to be educating me about how widespread this actually is, trust me, you're not. You're not. But if you really are interested in that particular topic, email me and I will turn you on to the best set of documentaries ever. Like that, if you've seen Out of the Shadows, which is fantastic, obviously, and you were interested in that topic, hit me up. I can't say more about it. There's a series of documentaries that I will send you that will blow your fucking mind. And just remove all doubt, remove all doubt about whether or not this is an isolated incident versus something that happens all the time. And then you can just draw your own conclusions. Anyway, that's what I got. So remember, Jesse on Everything. That is the channel where I do these types of topics. And if you are a person, I just should say this in advance. If you're a person who fancies themselves as a liberal, just understand, if you watch one of my videos and you feel like you're looking at someone who's like your enemy or something, I am absolutely independent. If you watch enough videos, you'll be like, oh, well, I watched one video. I thought he's like a hardcore, right. And then he just actually genuinely really thinks for himself. So I should probably listen to what he says, and then maybe he can change my mind. La 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 la. Anyway, I love doing videos like this. I love doing these videos. It's my favorite thing. Now, in this case, it's not super fun because I have about 50 minutes of stuff I would say if I didn't need to worry about saying certain things on the interweb, but I do. So anyway, subscribe to the channel. Go check out Jesse on Everything. You'll love it. Love you guys.